really grow as characters after that because they didn't really know how... They didn't want to make it too different to what the show was. But in Brotherhood, because the author had a start-to-finish story that she wanted to tell, you see both of them grow from being like 13 to 16 and how that affects their decision-making, but how they're in essence still the same people. And it's just really interesting, yeah. But yeah, highly recommend like either of those series for sure. Yeah. Speaking of... No.
Highly recommended series?
Yeah. That's a good one.
This one.
Speaking of highly recommended series, I knew there was a segue in there somewhere. I just needed Tim to help me out with it. Why don't we get to this highly recommended series of Reflex Save?
Oh.
All right.
What was that thing that recommended us, like, Great Australian Podcast?
Yeah, for some reason, but it was great.
Hey, we're a Great Australian Podcast. That's why we were there.
That's nice. Some guy from Ukraine liked that post. There you go.
Hey, we got fans all over the world.
Yeah.
We're going global, baby.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Except in France.
No.
Just blacklisted after the last
Well, yeah,
episode.
okay.
From France to
Can't win them all.
The one that went out, last week, but we're a little bit behind. Yeah. So let's throw it to you guys. What do you guys remember that happened last week on Reflex Save?
We boarded Ungajuk.
We did, and we submerged.
We found out that our random act of violence against whalers actually paid off. Angajuk seemed to approve of that.
He let us on in his bubble.
And Andy also allowed his Spectre friend to come on board too.
Much to the
dismay of everyone else.
I feel like nobody actually said no, but we were all thinking it.
just like three people like, no.
Wodun just doesn't read the room at any point in time.
Hey, you guys don't mind if I bring my Spectre on board? And we are all like just sitting there shaking our heads like, cool, thanks guys.
Oh, you said no. Great. Well, the key piece of detail you did miss out on that transition and that you went straight into the boat is that during the underwater expedition, you could say, Angajuk took you to the wrecking place of a naval battle. And Horacio, in a fairly inspired moment, decided that, hey, why don't we just see if we can detect any treasure out here? Using a detection spell that he has access to, was able to find that there is some treasure somewhere nearby. You honed in on its signal and found a ship lying on the bottom of the ocean. From there, you decided to alight from Angajuk, not before Svieta was able to cast,
Water
breathing on basically everyone, and you left the bubble to go down to the deck of the ship. While on the deck of the ship, you heard some disconcerting scuttling and decided that, you know what the situation calls for? Daylight. And cast daylight under the decks, causing things to really start heating up. And before you could jump down the hole in the open deck above, that's where we ended. So, question I have for you. What do you guys want to do?
Peer down. Any signs of movement? Anything?
Is Horacio like getting down on his hands and knees and like peering his head under?
So if we're looking at the map now, for those listening on at home, we're all on the southern edge of the hole. So can I just look down where we are and just look towards the the northern part, what I can see from where we are?
Okay.
The southern edge.
So you just take a step forward towards the hole and look down towards the northern side of the ship, or the fore of the ship.
Yeah, being wary to watch where I place my feet too, because these boards look a bit rickety.
Looks like some pretty hectic scratch marks across the deck as well.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And remember, you are underwater, so whilst it could be rickety, you are sort of floating.
Touche, disregard.
No, that's still... I mean, you don't know how long this has been here, you don't know what's solid. You peer down, and to the north, what you can see is... There is the bottom of the deck below, you can see it seems to be intact. There is a door to the north of where you are. You can just see in the daylight that you've got underneath there. But you don't see anything to the north of you except for some maybe the remains of under the deck rigging or junk, maybe a tarp, maybe some broken planks. You're not sure.
Okay. Guys, I'm going to wheel around to the northern edge and see if we can see anything from the other side.
I will follow right behind you.
Okay. Move yourselves
Way
around.
around to
please.
the other edge.
I'll stay where I am with the spectre that has unfortunately come with us.
Spencer the Spectre.
Yeah.
Oh, he has a name now.
Spencer?
There you go.
Okay, so, and I'm just to be very clear here, Andy is playing the part of the Spectre. Now, last week, it was drawn to my attention that the Spectre cannot speak. However, Aussie slang is not typically considered a language, so all this Spectre can speak in is Aussie slang.
Oh, no.
Andy, you do with that what you will.
No worries, mate. No
Just try and
worries.
make it sound ghostly. Yeah, excellent.
Ugh, so creepy.
Okay. So, Horacio's moved around to the foreside of the hole in the deck, and you're now looking down into the aft of the ship. What I'm going to do, for the benefit of all the players here, is I'm going to reveal... You guys can see everyone's token, right?
Yes.
Yep.
I'm going to put a duplicate across to make this a little bit easier,
Drop dupe.
if that's okay.
That's
So I'm going to
fine.
duplicate Horatio, but this doesn't mean Horatio's down here.
Yep.
Unless we push him.
Whoa, you just duplicate the whole... Whoa!
Oh my god.
Whoa! I can see everything.
Okay, so
Well,
looking down into the aft of the hull, you see a huge chitinous creature with thorny protrusions on its upper shell, and its red, stuttly legs are moving back and forth, back and forth. It's facing away from you, and its giant claws appear to be pounding a door in the aft of the ship. It does not appear to see you.
does it look like it's trying to get away? Like, is it frantic, or what's its behaviour like?
Roll a insight check.
Roll
Alright.
crab vibe.
Roll for crab vibe.
Vibes.
Crab vibe.
Do you have any profession
Nope.
crabber?
I have no proficiency in crab. I got 3 on the dice, so 8
I mean, it looks like it's pretty frantic.
That's
It's just
crab.
smashing at that door.
is crab.
Yeah, that's crabbing.
Carnelian, what's your take? Have you seen a creature like this before?
I mean, I've seen small crabs, but like I've seen a creature that's like this, but smaller.
Okay. I'll look up at Svieta and the Spectre and just sort of beckon them over. Come and have a look. Sort of like gesturing eyes down, if that makes sense.
Svieta understands, and she'll swim across to the, not over the hole, around it to where the other two are.
Okay. Place yourself on your map.
I don't. Yeah, I can do that.
Thank you.
I don't care if the ghost follows me.
And then doing that, I realise, as soon as I've done doing the gestures, I realise that I actually can communicate via radio. But anyway, gestures will suffice.
She walks up to you and just what's up?
Get some flags out.
Yeah.
It's just all in his mind's eyes, it's like flags. I'm like, oh yeah. I'll look down at the creature. Can I roll a nature check?
You sure can roll a nature check.
There's a big ass cray.
How many tiny dice do you have?
So many. 2 sets.
A little fleet of them. A tiny fleet.
Nature is +0, so 15.
All you know is it is a crab, but bigger.
Is it Ergotius?
No.
Okay.
It looks like a classic crab, but the size and proportions are way off.
Is it a beast?
I mean, maybe? It looks bestial.
If I will myself to transform into it, will I be successful?
Depends on what CR you can turn into. At this stage, I would say no.
Oh, no. I'll look to the other two and I'll just shrug.
Where am I getting a ping still on the treasure chest?
Mm-hmm.
Where
That door?
Where is it?
That door?
That he's trying to get to?
Yeah, right behind that. Feels like it's coming from that direction.
I'm going to relay this to the group via radio.
Oh, of course.
Do you reckon the crab is a crab? Why would it be trying to get into the treasure?
You sure it's trying to get to the treasure and not just trying to get away from the ball of light you created?
Oh, yes. Maybe.
Perhaps it's a treasure-eating crab.
We can't let it eat this. It might have something valuable in it. Should we just kill it? I don't see how else we can deal with it.
I wonder... I have the command spell. I wonder if I can use that on the crab.
It's worth a try.
Yeah.
I mean, if you do have to fight it, it probably tastes good.
Does it have to be humanoid for command? I don't know.
I'm just double-checking.
Share a language.
You speak a one-word command to a creature you can see within range. It doesn't have a... It has no effect if the target is undead, or if it doesn't understand your language, or your command is directly harmful to it. I guess, like, you would need to speak common.
Or you could speak with animals.
Oh my god, so true. But what if it's not an animal, it's just a monstrosity?
Then it might understand you anyway?
How do they handle that, like, speak to animals command? Because is that like a single, quote-unquote, crab word?
Crab word.
I would say there's a couple of things here working against you.
Yeah.
One is that command got a verbal component, yes?
Command...
I think it's only got a verbal component.
Yes.
So
Can't talk underwater.
the tricky thing is that using telekinesis and speak with animals, maybe just using speak with animals, I'd let it slide. But command, remember with D&D, like when you're talking about spells, the verbal component is very important. And so if the spell requires them to hear you, it's not just them understanding you psychically, it's also them hearing the spell. Also, remember guys, if you've got spells with verbal components, you're in a bit of trouble here.
Bit of a bind. Dude, all my spells require verbal components.
Just about
A
all of them do.
lot of spells require verbal
What
components.
if I transform into a sexy crab and just like lure it away?
Sexy crab. Ooh, snip, snip.
Are you confident you can perform the crab's mating dance?
No, but I will shimmy my back flippers away. No. I'm useless here for spells.
Me too. I just finished going through mine. Every single one of mine is verbal. Like, everyone.
I can cast Ice Knife, because that does require a verbal component.
I can just beat the shit out of it with a mace.
We could do that.
But it could be a little heavy in the water. Can we restrain it somehow?
A net wouldn't... Oh, I suppose web wouldn't work underwater.
Maybe.
The web is magic.
I don't know, I've never done underwater combat before.
Yeah, it's interesting. Do we have the web?
Doesn't Carnelian have the...
Yeah, I
Carnelian's
got the
got it.
wand.
Yeah.
Does it get charges back? Like, is it worth just trying to shoot a web at it and see what happens?
It sure does get charges back.
Might be an easy way to get by. Because we're after the treasure, really. We're not here to murder crabs.
I mean, I could, like, make an illusion.
Sexy crab illusion.
Well, here's a thought. It's going into that room over there, right? Why don't we just go to that side of the ship on the level that we're on and just punch a hole through it? And then we get the treasure, and then we just bypass the crab.
I love it.
Yeah, that actually sounds really smart.
Unless there's another crab in that other room.
Maybe it's
Trying to get to the other crab.
It's the sexy female crab.
No!
What about I could also move the light to try and push it away from the door so that it's got a dark section on the other side that it might run to?
Yeah, like an anti-moth.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, where it's running towards the door, is that a bit darker? Or is it all just
Where did
lit
you
up?
place your light? Right in the hole?
Pretty much in the middle of the hole.
I mean, that's where it would be dimming off from your spell.
So it might just be trying to escape the light, as you said before. So maybe I could just maneuver the light so it has a dark spot to run to. Might just come away from the door. That might help as well.
Worth trying and see what happens.
Yeah. Hut. Go! Let's start swimming back. Over here. I'm here now.
Yeah, I'm over there now.
Before you enact this plan, can we just double check that the sunlight spell can A be moved, and B, does it have to be somewhere you can see within range?
Alright, first of all, can it be moved? Let's see.
turns from an object and moves with it.
No. Because I just put it in a space.
Mm-hmm.
A point in space, so I can't actually maneuver it. I could cast it again, though.
Yeah, I was just making sure.
Yeah, no, thank you.
And I think it does have to be a space you can see within range.
Yes, so...
You'd
Back
have
I
to-
go.
Do you still have the light cantrip?
I do.
Might be a cheaper way of doing it.
Yeah, and maybe put it on the door.
A doorknob or something? I don't know.
Do you have to touch it, though?
For light, yes.
Oh,
Dancing
dear.
lights is the one you can move around freely.
Not bad.
Biggest difference between dancing lights, though, and light is that you don't need to concentrate on light.
Yeah, daylight is... It's not concentrated.
Was that a verbal spell as well?
Yes.
All right, we're gonna let
Fuck.
we're gonna let it
He cast
slide.
it on the boat.
We're gonna let it slide for now, but I will enforce that underwater you can't use verbal component spells
I've got to work around.
unless you can speak underwater somehow.
Okay. If you like, I'm going to retrieve a piece of debris from the ship, take it back to the bubble,
Okay.
cast daylight on it,
Okay.
and then drop it carefully on the southern side of the hull so it's as close to the door as possible.
Why don't you kick it down the stairs? Because that seems to lead down into the hull itself.
Aren't we trying to get it away from the door?
Yeah, so we want the light to be near the door.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Isn't the door on the southern side? Or is it on the northern side?
There's a door on the north and on the south, but where the giant enemy crab is on the southern side.
Yeah, so I was going to go around the southern edge and just drop it down there. As close as I could to the door.
Oh, down those stairs.
Well, maybe depending where the stairs lead.
We can see the stairs on the lower map.
Yeah, so I will reveal
Oh,
that the
right.
stairs that are on
I see.
top deck do lead down there. That is
Okay,
correct.
well then yes, I'll probably toss it down the stairs.
Okay.
Try and get right underneath the crab.
Okay. So what I will allow then is, there's definitely debris on the ship that you could use for this. You will need to go back, obviously, and cast it in the...
Yeah, I'll broadcast what I'm doing to everyone too.
Literally everyone in the bubble will be blinded temporarily.
Close your eyes or you might not be able to see again.
Oh, God! And now I did just double check daylight spell. You can cast it on an object, which I didn't know before. I was not really sure about that one. And that does make daylight movable wherever the object can be moved to. So, you swim back to the bubble.
Hey, Horatio.
Hey,
What are you doing?
Close your eyes. I'm going to illuminate this piece of timber severely.
Cool.
Like blindingly bright. So, I mean it. You may be blinded if you don't shut your eyes or look away.
Alright, he covers his eyes.
Valine puts her hood down.
Okay, I'd probably shut those eyes under there too, Valine, if I were you. This thing's pretty bright.
Oh, I have an idea of what you're thinking of.
Alright, great. And then I will cast daylight on the wood, also shielding my own eyes as I cast it.
Carnelian just tilts hat forwards.
At a jaunty angle. Okay, so now it would be quite a scene if we were seeing this underwater. Just all of a sudden, this whale that's sort of floating above the shipwreck, which has a clear bubble in it with a few different figures, lights up as if it was like a light bulb.
It would.
And
Yeah,
it
the
would.
light would behave differently, yeah.
And just the vague shadows of people moving in there.
Whale with a giant light bulb.
The whale just had an idea. And Horatio, you're then able to move it out. I'm not going to say mechanically it blinds you because that's not what the spell does, but I like that idea. You then move back to the boat towards the aft stairs that lead down to the hull. And you...
Do my best to... Well, if I get to the top of the stairs, because obviously by casting it on the timber, the other one I would go out, right? Or can I
the
might be able to drop multiple?
concentration spell, so one would have
is?
to go out.
Oh, okay. Well, if
hang
that's...
on.
I'm not sure if it is.
You are correct. It is not a concentration spell, so the other one would stay.
Light this place up. At the same time, I'm going to put out the one that's already down here, put it out, and then toss my one down the stairs to try and get it as close to the door as possible.
Okay. You throw the shard of daylight towards this crab, and it sails over the top of its carapace and settles right down in front of it. You can see this giant crab is still pounding at the door. Roll a perception check.
Okay. And this is with the other one that's gone out as well, right?
Yes.
Okay. I have not been rolling well for some weeks. That's another 3 on the die.
No.
6.
The ferocity of the attacks do not seem to have been abated by the movement of the light. Although you can see now that the giant crab appears to be more agitated and is moving back and forth more frantically. So it's like, think of it as like, you know how crabs do that sidestep? It's like sidestepping in front of the door and like bashing it in.
How's the door holding up?
It does not look good. It looks like it's sustained several blows. And the old wood that is like pretty well made for a ship is starting to give way.
Okay. Guys, the daylight didn't work. It's actually just made it even more agitated. Now it's bashing on the door even harder. I think we may have to go to Plan W.
I had a second idea.
Oh, yes?
I have my pack full of meat with me. If I put that down there, lure him across with a noise, and maybe he might scuttle away from the door and eat some meat instead. I'm sure that's tastier than wood.
Worth a shot. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Unfortunately, I can't make the noise because thaumaturgy requires a vocal component. But I want to open up my pack and grab like the rest of the goat's legs and meats that are in there. The rest of the lamb.
Couple weeks old by this point. Yeah.
Salted.
The nice thing is that if you know anything about crabs in general, they don't mind rotted old meat.
Apparently neither does Svieta because she was keeping it. And I'll go around to the opposite side of where Horacio is, next to where Carnelian is.
Yep.
And just carefully dump the top part where all my meat is, like over into the hole, and just watch it fall down.
Okay.
I was hoping to make a noise, but I can't.
Hey, Svieta. Sorry, just really quickly. I just want to say, if you're about to drop that meat, do you want me to make it? Yeah. If you want me to make a go for the door? If he comes over?
If he heads that way, yes.
Alright, I'll be ready.
Alright, I'll dump it, and if I
So like
can...
the scent of the meat in the water would be able to, like, the crab would notice.
Ooh, it'd be
Pretty rotten meat.
enticing.
I'll cast the mage hand, because it doesn't say it requires a component with what I have as my feet.
Yep.
And
that's correct.
I'll start like making like back and forth waving motions, so like the
Waft the meat smell.
and just waft it, just have it like continuously waft the rotted meat smell over, over to
Mage
the crab.
meat. You know what?
The meat water.
I kind of like that. So to do this, I'm going to get you to roll with your mage hand a sleight of hand check.
It's pretty good at it, because it's the only skill it should know.
Because it's a hand.
Sleight of hand?
Nice.
Don't roll sleight of foot, roll sleight of hand.
19.
19, that is good. Okay. What happens is, Horacio, you're above the where the steps are, I assume, and you're looking down, and you can see the crab is bashing on this door. Bam, bam, bam. That underwater thud sound that you hear, you know, when something really heavy and really big connects. And then it sort of starts to slow. Doom, 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 doom. And you hear this little scuttle like... As you see the bulk of the crab turn around, and it sort of looks like it's doing this little in the air, like as if it had a nose, and go, it's sniffing. And then it moves northward at a alarming pace over to where the meat is. And you can see what it does is it grabs the whole thing of meat and then curls itself up in this corner over here. And you know how when crabs have like food, it's just like yum 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 with its claws. It's like little bits and pieces. It rips it off and it puts it in his mouth. It's going.
Yeah, I can picture that.
Audience, this is I know this is a podcast. I don't have a camera for you, but
it's pretty much that's all you need. I'm down those stairs as soon as he goes and starts pick like that.
Okay.
Carnelian is going to have like a spell ready because if all else failed, I can cast Hypnotic Pattern without a verbal component.
Yep.
So if the crab appears to be hostile and makes back towards the door where Horacio is, Hypnotic Pattern.
Okay. So you're going to stay above deck to the fore of the ship.
Yeah.
Yep. Horacio's gone below decks to the aft. Svieta, what are you doing?
I am preparing to become a walrus.
Okay. You say, Are you staying with Carnelian?
I am, yeah. So if it does head anywhere towards the door, I want to become a walrus and like just bodily like land on the crab.
Right, so you're going to do body slam.
Yep.
Defense mechanism. Become a walrus.
Yeah, it's a pretty good defense mechanism.
It is.
And Andy, what does the Spectre do? Now, I will remind you, the Spectre is a ghost and therefore not bound by stupid things such as air.
So stupid.
His instructions from Wodun were just protect the others.
Okay.
So he literally hasn't moved since you guys have been running around the place. He's just standing on the deck, like, watching everybody go back and forwards and, like, doing all these shenanigans.
So is he staying where he is there on the ship? Or is
Yeah.
he moved? And does he say anything about the whole thing?
No, he's just looking.
Offering coldies to everyone.
Oh, I have a question for Carnelian. Are we aware of what you have as a backup? Like, have you said this?
Carnelian will relay, I've got a spell for this just in case.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He will probably be a bit vague on what spell.
That's fine.
That's fine, I trust you.
For the sake of cleanliness of the map, I've just moved Horacio back onto the whale, but the Horacio copy that's downstairs now becomes Horacio.
Mm-hmm.
You are in front of this door. It looks heavily damaged and bowed, but it still looks like it has still stayed intact, if barely. Roll a... Well, what do you want to do, actually? I don't want to tell you what to roll.
Rolled open door.
Well... Yeah, first question there. That's a good point, actually. First question, is it locked?
You don't know if it's locked so much as the whatever lock or locking mechanism that may have been here looks like it's been smashed to smithereens. The door only looks to be holding on because the way it was being beaten down seems to have almost caused it to be a makeshift barricade. If that
Okay,
makes sense.
so the door knob doesn't do anything at this point?
No. You actually look to pull the doorknob and it just comes off. Make a perception check when you pull the doorknob off of the door.
Okay. 17.
17. What you notice when the doorknob comes free is it's followed by a bunch of air bubbles. And now that you're looking at the rest of the door, there's a lot of actual air bubbles leaking from various parts, either on the door or on the wall that's been bashed in. Looks like, at least in there, it wasn't seawater before the crab started its attack.
So, from this, could Horatio imply that perhaps this room was sealed and it had air in it?
That would be a good deduction, yeah.
I'll relay that to the party that this room was sealed. Can I see inside the room at all?
You can't.
What about could I just quickly pick up the light log and push it through a hole in the door, just to try and see what's in there?
You take the radiant shard and try and shove it into a hole that's big enough maybe for it to go through. Roll a investigation check.
Okay. That's a nat 1, baby.
It's like putting a square peg in a round hole. It just doesn't seem to be anywhere that's big enough for the shard to fit.
Rats. Okay. If air's still leaking out, does that mean the door is largely still intact?
Looks
I'd assume that if there was a decent enough hole, air would be long gone.
You could imply that the door is held up surprisingly well if there's still air bubbles coming out of it. How long that will last for, you can't tell.
Are the air bubbles coming from below, or does it look like they were based in this room?
Looks like it's just coming out of where the door and the wall area was, so potentially in that room. I mean, if you're paying special attention, maybe the very bottom part isn't filling up with any water, because it's like not having any bubbles, so that lower section may be about a foot. Doesn't appear to be generating bubbles.
Sounds like what we need is some sort of being that has incorporeal movement or something to get through this door.
Wodun, is that you?
Is he within 30 feet?
Can I connect to the network that is the Spectre? Like, can I use...
The network that is.
Alright, Let's
Use
figure
the
out
helm?
some Spectre rules. Can you give me some rules on Spectre? What is the actual creature stat block, please?
Spectre.
Okay.
Inspector Rex.
And your Helm of Telepathy.
Yeah.
Can I get some specifics on that, please?
Sure.
Languages. Understands all languages it knew in life but can't speak.
I'm going to make a call here.
Before you do, I was going to actually attempt to open the door.
Okay.
My reasoning was I just wanted to see if there'd be any implications for me opening it fully, but having failed to try and glean anything from that, I'm just going to have a crack at the door. So I actually have a war pick in my inventory.
Okay.
I'd like to use that to try and lever the door open.
Okay.
It's effectively a crowbar, I think. That's a
Yeah.
Oh, pretty much.
I would give advantage like a crowbar to your strength check.
Alright. Vantage like a crow. It's my favourite country western album.
Cool.
Prying bar, open that door. Strength with advantage, because I got a crow. I'm not sure myself. Oh yeah, not good on strength, but hey, you win some, you lose some.
That is kind of this party.
16 minus 1's 15.
You shove the pick into an area that looks like you might be able to lever it open, and you try and you feel your muscles strain against the hulk of the wood.
Little sinewy pipe cleaners is straining.
But you're just not strong enough to budge that door.
No, my physician's strength isn't sufficient.
These learned hands.
These learned hands weren't made for prying.
They were made for the dexterous work of saving lives, not for this brute force.
Exactly.
Struggling?
Yes, I am, actually. I could use a little assistance, please, guys. That was just for effect.
Thank you. I'll come over and help you.
Carnelian will stay where he is and watch the crab.
Right, so Carnelian is on crab watch.
Crab watch.
Spectre is on party watch, and Svieta heads over and down the stairs.
And down the stairs.
Okay.
Crab watch.
I'll put you
Eye on crab.
Svieta.
Can I try and crowbar it open? That was the intention, right? You were prying the door open?
Yes, Svieta, that was the intention.
Have you tried the doorknob and just seen if you could open it?
Yes, tried that.
Okay,
It actually came
sorry.
off, didn't it? Didn't it?
Yes, it
Doorknob
did.
actually come off, yeah.
There's bubbles coming from the doorknob.
Yeah. I tried to have a look inside, but there's all these bubbles that are coming out.
Why?
I wasn't able to work it out due to terrible rolls.
Do you want me to take a look first? Just
Yes,
in case?
absolutely, please.
Can I look through the same hole?
All right. Roll me a perception check. And actually, before you roll the perception check, you're going to try and fit the piece of the puzzle that is the shining shard. Roll an investigation check first.
It's a 4.
Okay. Then roll your perception check with disadvantage.
I told you it doesn't fit. I tried.
I shouldn't have doubted you. Sorry. Oh, come on.
Oh, that's rough.
I rolled a 19 and a 1.
Oh no. You min-maxes?
Just all these bubbles pouring out of all the holes makes it so difficult to see, you know?
Oh, what a mystery.
I know, it's so bubbly.
Like a champagne. Alright, let's just pry this door open and find out what's inside.
Alright.
Roll to pry.
Okay. Just before you do, anyone want to do anything else?
No.
No? Alright, roll to pry.
With advantage?
Yes. Because you've got effectively a pry bar.
What is this?
Strength.
I don't mean to pry. But I do.
What? Double 14s, baby.
Again, whilst Horacio's pipe cleaner arms couldn't get the job done, even your...
So you don't have a bonus this trip?
No, it's a 0. It's better than
Yeah,
everyone
it's better
else's.
Strongest member of 0.
What if I changed... You're familiar with axe beaks?
Am
bird?
What?
An axe beak.
Am I familiar with X-Beaks? Would you
I
allow
feel
me to
that, like,
think
they're
my
the...
brain?
I feel that they're the ostriches of Faerun. They just,
Okay.
like, hang out.
Can I check my brain?
Sure, roll a nature check, question mark, as he looks up Axebeak.
It was in the
am I
D&D
with-
movie.
Am I
13.
within communication range? Like,
through? Oh, he's within.
It's 30 feet, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
I'm going to say that once she goes below the deck, she'll not.
Crackles.
I'm sorry.
13 on that animal. On nature, sorry. So 11 plus 13 still.
You've heard of the tall, flightless bird that is the axebeak with a wedge-shaped beak?
Yeah, I've heard of the axe beak. It's got a wedge-shaped beak.
This is true, like an axe.
Yeah, crazy name.
So inspiring. I could just transform into one of those and like smash the door down with my beak.
Can axe beaks breathe underwater?
No,
Or
but
use
I
the vapor?
can.
Oh, okay.
So it can.
Yeah.
So I could probably do that, and then that'll probably get us through the door. They're a lot stronger than me.
Yeah.
Alright, I should have done that first.
No, what? Shot?
I've become fireman. Fireman Axebeak.
Fireman XP.
Axe beak Sam?
Axebeak Sam.
So you transform underwater
Yep.
into a tasty giant chicken for the crab. Interesting.
Oh, okay.
So you are an axebeak.
Yay.
You stand in front of a wooden door.
How big is axe beak?
Large.
Is
Did you choose an axe beak because it's like an axe to cut through the wooden door?
You're right on the money, Zimma.
Nice.
okay.
I believe in you, axe beak.
Shouldn't make a noise underwater. Gonna roll to
Axebeak.
Axebeak.
Okay. Roll to axebeak.
So I'm gonna use his beak melee attack, which is a +4 to hit.
Okay, so I'm just going to let you know that the door's not necessarily going to dodge in this particular instance.
No, but it's got an AC, right?
No, I think it's got HP.
Okay.
I'm going to put here. So, roll damage.
These dice are so tiny. It's not a D8. Ooh. That is 7 slashing damage.
14 slashing damage as the axe beak sinks into the door. It seems that more bubbles are now flowing freely from this door, and it looks like it's about to come apart.
One more time.
One more time. Roll
Get ready
damage.
to back away, Svieta. Just be aware.
Even better. 9 slashing.
Okay. 18 damage to the door. And finally, your head bursts through the door face first as a giant cloud of bubbles erupts and fills behind you. And all that Horatio can see is your head just stuck into the door.
I yank it out. I grab it by the bum and the legs and yank the whole bird out.
Yank the whole bird out. Put that on a
Get
t-shirt.
that head out. Yank that bird out.
Before you can yank that bird out of the door, Svieta, you're looking around, and with light shining in from behind you, thanks to the glorious shard of daylight, you see 4 figures in this room.
What?
Very hastily putting some sort of helmet on as the rest of the salt water rushes in on them. These small figures are like, you just hear the exclamation, "Oh shit!" Clunk, crack, 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 crack. And they all appear to be connected, like all these like pipes that are connected to like a central little bladder
Yeah.
that looks to be probably filled with air.
What the fuck?
Do they look British?
I will tell you, they look short.
Oh my god. A familiar type of shortness?
I mean, you've been around Carnelian, so
Oh,
yeah,
true.
about that height.
Childlike.
Childlike in height.
Are you resisting my yanks?
No, I'll never resist.
After a couple of strong pulls, your head comes free back out of the door.
I'll just quickly relay as I'm being yanked out from the door. There's tiny men inside
Tiny men?
with little spaceship helmets.
Do they? I think we should try to talk to these.
We
Fellows.
can't talk to them. We don't have mouths underwater.
Can you communicate telepathically with them?
Oh, true, I still can.
Come on, Svieta.
How are we talking right now?
I forgot before.
I know, that was the best part.
I just had my head through a door, okay?
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, she
fair.
has suffered a
I
bit
had
of
to yank pretty
concussion.
hard, that's fair.
Can I attempt to connect?
Sure.
Do they resist? They have to be willing, otherwise I gotta
Does the telepathy need to have a resistance?
So detect thoughts, they have to...
Yeah, but I don't think that the telepathy part, like the detect thoughts, so there's the suggestion, and then there's the detect thoughts and the deeper thoughts. But when you connect with detect thoughts, which isn't a save, can't you just talk to them?
That's what we made it for the party as a default, because while wearing this helm, you can use an action to cast Detect Thoughts spell, which is a spell save DC 13.
But only on the deeper thoughts. We did establish this last time. So I think the telekinesis just needs you to use Detect Thoughts, and you can get the surface thoughts.
It's telepathy, not telekinesis.
Sorry, telepathy.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
So, excuse you.
So the first thing that's going to happen is choose one of the 4 to...
The shortest of the 4.
The shortest of the 4?
He looks weak.
You identify...
a low rocky.
You identify the shortest of the 4.
Excellent.
And you cast Detect Thoughts. The world starts greying out. It was this sort of greeny blue of all the water that was surrounding you. And your eyes were stinging from the salt water that's just rushed into them. But now, the world, which had very limited light coming in from the sunlight spell, starts to grey away into grayscale. And you tune into these thoughts. You can feel this sort of mix of emotions and thoughts and mass and all writhing in front of you. You pick out one strand of that, and you hear thoughts such as panic, air, not much time, oh no, breaking, and then just last minute, right? So the impression you get is that this is a last-ditch effort. And then you try and communicate. What do you say?
As an Axebig. This Axebig bursts through the door. We come in peace.
What the fuck? We come in peace.
Sorry.
That's my Axebig voice. Hey!
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I like it.
The shortest of the 4 straightens up when the voice within its head starts to talk. And you can just see like almost this sort of shockwave as he's a little bit slightly bent over, fiddling with something on the little bladder that's beside all 4 of them. And it's like a shudder goes through his body as he stands up straight. What was that? What was that?
It me!
Who are you?
Svieta!
Svieta! Oh, thank God! Svieta, it's me! It's Ronaldo!
Oh my God!
How did you find me here?
A whale!
What?
Oh, we found a ghost!
What? And then you see this underwater, he's like this little notepad comes out that looks like it's been waterproofed, and you can see him scratching on it. Where did you find the ghost? And then just before you can say that, there's other figures that he's with sort of pat him on the shoulder and point down to the bladder. We don't have much time. We were very much out of oxygen when we got here. We would... the crab! Oh my God, where's the crab? Did you kill the crab?
No.
Shit! Okay, we're at the surface very, very soon, or we are all going to die.
Oh, give us a sec. I'll connect to the other guys. I'm like, it's Ronaldo!
The halfling?
Yeah! Cool!
They're
They're going to die soon if we don't help them.
Would indeed.
Well, look, maybe they can come into the bubble and get some air.
They can't move past the crab.
Why?
Oh, I guess they could, actually. Ronaldo, get on in here.
What?
Just be quiet, swim past, go upstairs.
And you see them all turn to each other, and they seem to be making some small hand symbols, and they pick up the bladder between the 4 of them and start marching in unison out towards you. And you see them all look up to you, and you peer into these clear faceplates, and you see, in the shortest one, the face of Ronaldo, looking out, almost beaming at you. He's got this huge smile on his face. In the other, you see the faces of little kobolds peeking through the glass at you, looking very worried indeed.
Did these look like familiar kobolds?
Not that you're not familiar with them.
It might be worth, for the audience's sake, and definitely not my sake, who's Ronaldo?
Ronaldo was the little halfling you met in East Haven that you performed a seance with.
Oh,
For the White Lady.
That's right.
The tadpoles.
The next day, he formed Tadpoles, the trans... Oh, God, what was the acronym I used? I'll get it.
The All-Dale Paranormal, Occult, Leyline, and Extraplanar Society.
Correct.
Cool.
So he formed this paranormal society, and he made you all honorary members, for as long as you want. And then he set off into Icewind Dale to find strange mysteries of paranormal origin. That was the last you saw of him.
Apparently he decided to go scuba diving.
Apparently so. I'll bodily block one of the areas so the crab can't get through one way, and I guess...
You mean either side of the stairs?
Yeah, just so
they can get out?
Yeah, as bodyguard.
Yeah, and we can just direct them to the whale bubble.
You can't miss it!
They all take a bit of a double take of a giant crab cramming goat into its mouth, and they start ascending the stairs. They get to the top of the stairs, and you can see them point at the little boat that you saw before that looks like it's probably too broken to move. And they start swimming upwards.
Don't muck around, bladder boys. Move!
Carnelian points them towards the whale.
Whale bubble.
You see, they all look at Carnelian and they just sort of go...
Just double down, double hand pointing at the whale behind them.
So, Callan was mimicking, where's their...
Yes.
Where's our head count?
Where's your helmet?
Don't worry about me, worry about you.
They then sort of take off into the deep towards the whale.
Appreciate how many kobolds are in Icewind Dale.
There's a lot,
So they
actually.
would have had to run directly past my Spectre on the way up. If they went up the stairs, that's where he's standing.
Okay, what does the Spectre do?
He just stares at them walking past.
Good.
You see...
Mate.
All four of them slowly turn their scuba heads towards the Spectre, and you see all four of them in unison jump slightly, and they start swimming even faster. Several bubbles come loose from their helmets as they swim in a panicked fashion towards the bubble.
A few bubbles come from the bottom too. Panicked farting.
Panic fart.
It propels them quicker.
Fart men! Sorry.
Eventually, after a little bit of time and a little bit of panic, you see the four figures enter the bubble and collapse on the whale's head / ship. Wodun, four figures come from the boat swimming with this sort of device in between them. These short figures in... I guess you, Andrew, recognize them as those deep-sea diver outfits.
Yeah.
Wodun has no idea what they are, though. But they all burst into the bubble, and you see them frantically taking their helmets off.
He's from a port town. He might recognize it.
I don't know.
That's a good point. Roll a history check.
Oh, nope. I can tell you right now, it's not going to be good. It's a 5 plus 0.
You have no idea what they're wearing.
So Wodun's halfway through attempting to put eyeliner on for the first time from what's her name?
Valine.
Valine's little makeup box.
Valine's holding a mirror up to him. He's like, no. You
But
need
I'm going to get it in my eye.
No. You have to...
I'm going to poke myself in the eye.
No.
This is terrifying.
If you think about it that way, you will poke yourself in the eye. Just
Okay.
calm down.
Okay.
Calm down.
Whoa! What the fuck are those guys? What? Who are these scuba men? Explain yourselves. And he'll summon his spear in his hand and sort of gesture it towards them in a guard stance.
Three of them, looking up as they're trying to take their helmet off, suddenly put their hands up with the spear being pointed at them. And you see the shortest of the four eventually able to thud, and the face of Ronaldo is sitting there.
Ronaldo, what are you doing here?
Hey,
At the bottom of the ocean!
I can explain. Put the spear down. I think you're frightening my friends.
Oh, sorry. And he just dismisses it into nothing.
One of them collapses as the air supply has run out, and the rest of them help him with his thing on.
That panic was just enough to tip it over the edge. Use that remaining O2 and he's out.
And he's out! 3 kobolds that are still in mostly scuba gear with the exception of the helmet look like they're helping the passed out companion, while Ronaldo stands there in front of you and he's just smiling a bit. It's like, wow, fancy seeing you here of all places.
Of all places, at the bottom of the ocean, on the back of a whale with a giant oxygen house, you found us.
I know! I was looking for this whale for ages! I'd heard the stories, but I couldn't figure out where to go. How did you find the whale?
It took us literally 3 minutes, and we killed 6 people in those 3 minutes. I don't know how you couldn't find it, to be honest.
What?
There was a bell. Anyway. You like ghosts. Did you see my ghost?
That was yours?
Yeah. I can do that now.
What? Oh, that is terrifying.
Do you want him to come back? I'll bring him.
Yes, I do.
Wait, I don't know if I can do that.
Can I talk to him?
I don't know. No, he can't speak.
Damn it.
Or unless he's just not speaking to me.
He pulls out another notepad and starts scribbling things down furiously.
Again, he's only been alive for about 15 minutes or so. Maybe 20.
You're so fucking...
Well, one thing's for sure. One of my companions needs a bit of a better education in research. We could have found this earlier?
Oh, this is Valine.
Oh, hey! I'm Ronaldo, and he throws open a card that has the tadpoles on it.
We'll explain later, Valine.
Oh, fantastic.
We're tadpoles.
And she takes it between 2 fingers and places it on the whale next to her.
Where is... Are you guys here as well?
No.
Where are the others? Are they...
We lost Jen! We lost her!
So stupid.
Smooth.
I'm fine. No, I'm not.
So, where are the others, Ronaldo?
The others? Oh, they stayed on the ship. I don't know why. They told us to get here as soon as possible, which, to be fair, we were running out of air, so it's very, very lucky that you had a giant supply of oxygen right here.
Yeah, crazy. That chap there looks like he needs it more than most.
I think he'll be okay. He'll be okay, right? Right? No. Need to say, okay, we'll get them. Okay, I think there's a hospital in East... Oh no, we're too far away. Bremen. I'm sure there's a hospital in Bremen.
I walk over and put my hand on his little kobold chest and cast Lesser Restoration on him.
You hear, after you cast... How does it look when you cast Lesser Restoration? Sorry.
It's just kind of out from my hand. You know how when you put your hand over the end of a torch and it lights up your hand? It's kind of like that, but like a white light, and it sort of just radiates out a little bit from underneath his hand.
You cast your spell and the light dissipates on the little kobold's chest, and then you hear after half a second or so... And he settles back down. It seems that his breathing is a bit more regular now.
There we go. Saved his life. You're welcome.
I can't thank you enough. You saved all of our lives. I think we would be quite dead if you hadn't come along.
Did you find the treasure in there? Horacio said there was some sort of treasure.
Keep that part down. I'm on an expedition with a wooden ship and everything. If they find out there's treasure, they'll want to go back.
These kobolds?
Yeah.
Oh, they don't know? How did you get them to the bottom? What do they think they're doing down here?
They are the first members of the Tadpoles. They joined a little while ago. I did have to give up some gold, but They have been proven quite capable companions and very interested in the paranormal. But I'm worried that if they hear there's a treasure on board, they might ditch me.
They are quite greedy, those little kobolds.
When we were under there, they kind of blamed me for the predicament we were in.
I probably would have as well.
That's neither here nor there. We got out okay, alright?
Alright, I'll cover for you.
Thank you.
Lee, did you hear that? We're covering.
Oh, a wonderful subterfuge.
You're a wizard, you're very tricksy.
I've been told, yes.
Anyway, do we need to get back down there, or what do we...
Well, some of the equipment was damaged on the descent. We hit the deck relatively hard. I wasn't expecting the rudder to stop working. And then when we decided to explore a bit, plenty of air, and we would just swim to the surface with our emergency life raft. Unfortunately, it appears that a giant crab has made the lower decks its home. And when we were exploring, we woke it up. There was a mad scuttle for the door. Well, it was originally filled with seawater. There were all these barrels and, well, they all contained air. Quite a lot of it. It was amazing. It filled up the room, and then there was no more. And then the crab realized we were there just a little while ago, and started beating on the door, and we started losing oxygen again.
Well, I can't apparently communicate with my ghost right now, so maybe you can just tell them that he was what you came here to see.
Wodun, you're a genius.
I know. I've been telling everyone, but
He spins around and says, "Did you see it? The spectre of the Dark Duchess was right there in front of us." And the three heads sort of like all perk up and they're like, "Ooh." Yes. Hundreds of years ago, a pitched naval battle between two rival factions in the Sea of Moving Ice. And it all came to a head when the captain of the Dark Duchess rammed the other commander's ship. Unfortunately, and he just goes into this long tale about the Dark Duchess. Back on the ship, the crab still seems to be fairly content in the corner eating its little goat legs.
Hey!
Can you see the treasure?
I don't know.
Yeah, let's get in this. Let's get in there quick before he finishes eating your disgusting goat legs.
Well, Horacio, you go in.
Okay.
I'll stand guard.
Okay.
I got the big body.
You do have a big body. I'm in.
Okay.
This is Snake.
I was gonna say, I'm in.
A hind D. What's that doing here?
I'm going to get into this hind now. So, Horatio, I assume that you pick up the sliver of daylight and move into the room.
Yeah, so just far enough sufficient to illuminate the whole room clearly.
I'm just going to move you in so you can see. Ignore the... Oh, no, they're not on the map. That's cool.
Looks like a giant dodo with a big ass beak.
Yep.
That is what it is.
Yeah.
Basically.
It's actually pretty jacked. Like
It's almost like a chocobo. Oh, yeah. FF14 has axe beaks.
I thought they were familiar. They make that weird ass generic, like dragon roar sort of sound.
Yeah.
Hey, Cal.
Do the roar.
I cannot. It's very high pitched and very strange.
This room seems to be filled with broken barrels and other things that look like they were contained long ago in some sort of wooden crates or bundled together with some sort of tarp and twine. Looks like that some of it's been rotten through, and recently some of the barrels have been smashed all together. Residual magic lends itself to feeling like these barrels maybe contain some sort of spell in them that is now dissipated. How long did the detect stuff last?
Detect stuff last.
But if he casts a spell, and it's concentration, it would be gone, right?
Yeah, well, the thing about locate object, it
10 minutes?
lasts 10 minutes.
Cool. No worries, that's okay. So, you're looking around this room, holding the light above your head. Your locate object spell is unfortunately no longer in effect. The last thing you felt was this location in front of you, somewhere in here.
Okay. Do I see the treasure chest? Because I have to have an idea in my head of what it looks like in order to locate it.
You have the idea of a generic treasure chest in your head, but you don't see anything at the moment.
Svieta, we might need some assistance here to try and find this chest. Are you able to help?
Sure. Do you want me to be a human again? Oh,
You do you.
not an axe beak?
You do you.
She'll just ask as the axe beak. Just recast.
Just read what?
Recast your object spell.
But it's got a verbal component. I can't talk underwater.
Okay. I'll come in.
I could float back out, but I've got a pretty good idea what it looks like. I just can't see it just yet. I think it's in here somewhere. I just might need some help to find it.
Here I come. I'm so heavy I just walk along the ground. I'm in.
You're also in. What do you guys want to do?
I will describe to the best of my ability the appearance of the chest that I was looking for in my head, and then we'll try and look for it.
Fortunately, with a telepathic link, you can basically make an image in your mind. It's better, we'll see it. You begin searching?
Yeah.
Perception checks. Or investigation.
Oh, thank you.
I couldn't shift it when I was...
Oh, yes, you can.
I can shift as when I'm in the beast form, because that was what we established.
I know you can shift before the... No, yeah, I think we did establish you can shift afterwards.
I am almost certain that you can use racial abilities while you're
Yes, we did establish that, yeah.
That's 16 on the investigate.
16 on investigation.
So I'm going to shift, so I'll be like an extra fluffy
Yeah.
X-beak.
Wow. Some kind of hybrid.
19.
Between the two of you, you start searching this hole. While you don't find the chest itself, between the investigation and the perception, you move some debris aside, and when you do, Svieta, you see something a little bit strange, and you point it out to Horacio, who then comes to investigate, revealing some scratch marks in this location. Looks like something heavy has been dragged across this area a number of times.
Where do the drag marks lead?
It looks like just something's been shifted in the same place, maybe to and from.
Right.
Whatever it was is gone by now, but there's a very distinct set of marks, like slide to side.
Does it look like the boards that have the drag marks can be removed?
Any boards can be removed.
I slam my head down to crack it open.
Slamming your head down on where the drag marks are does eventually open a small hole underneath the floor. And in that hole, there is a chest. You pull out a chest. Roughly the description that you were looking for before.
Got it!
Amazing works for it. Nice use of the head.
Thanks.
Let's open it. Well, why don't... Hang on, Carnelian. No, you're not here. So should we maybe take it back to the bubble? What do you reckon? Time's pretty short here. We've got that crab.
Yeah, what if everything floats out of it?
Is that a case for bringing it to the bubble?
Well, if it's like fine silks or something, it'll just like flow away.
Oh, so
If we bring it onto the ship, it's got gravity. And
got the bubble. Yeah, the bubble. Yeah, let's take it back to the bubble. Quick.
So you both ascend the stairs. I'm going to say, unless you somehow strap it to Svieta, you're going to have to be carrying this Horacio, and it's quite difficult to maneuver. It's very awkward and bulky.
I might need... You're a shifter, isn't that your species?
Yes.
I might need shifter Svieta back for this. It's
Why?
heavy, unless you can somehow pick it up.
Have you got a rope?
Probably. Time is of the essence. I could probably tie it to you if you think that's a good idea. It doesn't have to go far.
If you're a quick knotter.
I'm not a known knotter, but I can give it a shot. I'm sure I have rope in here somewhere. One of these adventurous packs.
D&D, everyone's got
Yeah.
rope.
Yeah, everyone's got rope.
I'm going to use some of my rope to try and affix the chest to the back of Beak Svieta.
Roll a survival check.
14.
14. Okay. Carnelian, you see a axe beak and Horacio ascend from the stairs, and Horatio's tying what looks to be a treasure chest to the axe beak. What do you do?
I'm not going to question where he got the axe beak from.
Okay. It's probably a good call when you've got a druid in the party, yep.
Crap hasn't moved.
Not yet. Looks like he's still knobbing on a...
Then
gnawing on
I'll
the-
start to make my way back around the...
Okay. You're now all together, and you start heading towards the bubble. Alright.
The spectre follows you because he's protecting you.
Hey, Svieta,
Yes.
can I ride you back to the bubble? I've never ridden an axe beak before.
Okay.
Thanks. And then I'll jump on the back.
You float onto the back, because there's not that much weight underwater.
I'm sort of half just swimming above you as well.
This is like your arms around the neck and just legs going away.
Dragging back, yeah.
And you start swimming the gap between the ship and Angachuk. Everyone roll a perception check, including Wodun.
Drama!
There's always a bigger fish.
14.
19!
13?
8.
You're all swimming towards Angachuk, and after the first, say, 10 feet or so, Carnelian catches the slightest bit of movement off to the edge of the light, and you sort of catch it again and again, until eventually you make out the silhouette of some large creature that is circling all of you. And suddenly, this two-headed shark turns and charges at you, mouths open, ready to bite down on all three of you. Roll for initiative next week on
God.
Reflex save.
Two-headed?
Two-headed
Oh
shark.
my goodness.
Jesus. I thought I'd seen it all. Fucking bubble whale here. Two-headed shark.
My favorite thing about that whole thing was Andy going, I'm texting Julia to let her know I'm playing D&D. I'm like, doesn't she already know that that's basically what happens on Wednesday? Or have you been telling her something else? Like, we're going bowling.
Oh, yeah, we're going bowling. None of that nerd
like-
shit.
Yeah, me and the boys are hitting the pub again. Don't ask questions.
And then you just hear, is that dice rolling in the background? I gotta go, bye!
No, I'm on the pokies.
It's game night.
Have you been looking for a break from the drudgery of the real world? What if the future wasn't so bleak? What if someone was to save us all? How would that look?
I must know, does your microwave gun go ding when it's done shooting?
Well, you're in luck, because Cybertopia is a rules-light TTRPG actual play that explores just such a reality.
We've got this disco ball, which is pretty cool. We've got these two drones flying around in here, dodging in and out of the smoke.
Check us out on your podcast app of choice, and hear our rolling cast of 16 fantastic players take on weird and wild missions that the corporate overlords need taken care of for totally altruistic and benevolent reasons.
Okay, this time it's serious. I would like to turn my hacking hat backwards.